Hello, welcome everyone to my presentation of the sensory principle for taste. Now, the chapter will give an overview of the sense of taste and its importance in sensory marketing, especially the characteristic of gastronomic taste, its role in different cultures, as well as the significance of gastronomic cues and stimuli for brands, products, and service environments will be analyzed and discussed. So, move on to these are the pillar you guys will be covered in this presentation. And now, the dual nature of taste in consumer choices. Individuals rely on personal taste when choosing brands, products, and service environment. Taste is dual because inner taste refers to gastronomic sensation experienced through the tongue, flavors, and textures in food and drinks, and the outer taste would relate to aesthetic appeal seen through visual elements like appearance, color, style, and texture. Most consumers prioritize aesthetic values such as design and styles, especially for hedonic products like fashion, cars, or blood. For food, um, blending functional and experimental qualities. So the inner taste or the gastronomic taste is the indirect sensory experience of consuming food or beverages, especially essential for customer satisfaction in food service. It also evokes emotional responses shaped by dining environments such as lighting and aroma. Fine dining experiences, like those as normal, combine taste with ambience to create lasting sensory memory. And the outer taste or the aesthetic taste influences how products and environments visually and tactilely appeals to customers. It shapes brand perception and emotional connection. In luxury, hospitality, or retail, design and presentation often weigh more heavily on perceived quality and than the product itself. For example, Apple stores use the minimalist design and product interaction to reinforce brand identity and customer uh, engagement in complement with the phone feature. In service sectors like retail, fashion, and hospitality, aesthetic taste is key to brand differentiation and customer loyalty. Consumers' emotional responses to brand aesthetic influence their buying choices and their attachment to service environment. Move on to the characteristics of taste. First, we cover the physiological aspect. So, the gastronomic taste originates from the tongue, about 10,000 taste buds, detecting flavors like sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami. Women typically have more taste buds than men, leading to heightened taste sensitivity. Taste sensitivity decline with age, causing older adults to prefer stronger flavors. Taste is multisensory. Around 80% of flavor perception comes from smell, which texture, temperature, sight, and sound also influencing the overall experience. This sensory blending, known as synesthesia, mean one sense can trigger perception in another. For example, the color of a food may evoking the taste also. And the moving on to the scene ethic FCCA in service marketing, so the service provider would use this multi-sensory approach to create memorable experiences. And high-end restaurants would like to combine taste, visual presentation, aroma, and texture to enhance dining. And luxury hotel would create signature scents to evoke feelings of comfort and reinforce brand identity. And retailers, especially in F&B, design environment combining taste, sight, smell, and sound to stand out and engage customers. About the aesthetic taste, it involves consumer perceived beauty in product, brand, and environment. It's subjective and shapes emotional connection. Brands like Apple emphasize minimalist design and sensory appeal, aligning product with consumers' personal style. In hospitality, well-designed spaces with thoughtful lighting, color, texture, and scent leave lasting impression that build loyalty and encourage the repeat visit later. And moving on to the psychological aspect, so taste is one of the most emotionally charged sense, deeply linked into feelings, memories, and culture. Common expression like "it's a matter of taste" highlight how taste connect to emotion and social interaction. Food and drink choice often shapes mood and provide comfort, such as the Swedish ritual of fika, which reduces stress and enhance well-being. People People would rely on sensory memory from past taste experiences when choosing restaurants, product, or service. Positive hedonic taste experience, a pleasurable moment like the first bite or first sip, are vividly remembered and influence future decision. However, negative and experiences like poor service can overshadow good taste memory. The implication is that service providers can boost customer satisfaction and loyalty by creating experiences that reconnect customers with positive taste memory. Combining exceptional taste with friendly service and pleasant ambience strengthen the overall memory. Taste symbolism and sensory cues like aroma, texture, and visuals they will deepen the emotional connections and make experience more memorable. For example, a coffee shop that supports the relaxing ritual of a coffee break enhances hedonic experiences, encouraging the repeat visit and brand loyalty for its customer. Understanding the emotional and psychological impact of taste is vital not only for food related services but for any business aiming to build strong emotional bond with customer later. Move on to the taste interaction with other senses. So, taste is closely connected with other senses like sight, sound, smells, and touch, creating a rich multisensory experience that shapes how we perceive and enjoy food and beverages. For visual cues like color, which strongly influence taste perception, study shows that people can often identify flavors by color alone, and vibrant color make food appear more flavorful. In service setting, appealing food presentation can enhance the dining experience. About the sound and taste, the sounds we hear while eating, such as the crunch or the chips, like ASMR eating, affect how fresh and enjoyable food seems. Restaurants can use ambient sounds and music to complement food texture, boosting customer enjoyment. About the smell and taste, smell is deeply intertwined with taste, as aroma greatly shapes flavor perception. A strong, pleasant aroma can raise expectations and enhance the overall eating experience. Open kitchens that let customers smell food being prepared create immersive sensory environment and is very favorable nowadays. About the touch, the physical feel of items like glassware or packaging influences taste perception. Heavier, well designed utensils or like silver or texture packaging and the napkins can elevate how consumers judge product quality overall, impacting the overall sensory experience. Now, what is taste perception? It is how individuals interpret both gastronomic stimuli like food and drink and the aesthetic stimuli like the visual appeal and the design around them. It is unique to each person, shaped by personal experiences and culture, influencing interactions with brand, product, and other. Historically, taste was linked to moral judgment and seen as universal and objective, reflecting good behavior and refined choice. But over time, taste has shifted to a personal, emotional preference, serving as a marker of identity and social distinction. French philosopher Pierre Bourdieu introduced the idea of cultural capital, which includes taste formed by education, family, and social status. Uh, Taste would expresses cultural capital, signaling position of social through choices in food, fashion, and brands. A luxury item may indicate higher cultural capital, while mainstream option reflects other values. Taste as other differentiator as well because they help distinguish social classes and culture, allowing people to express individuality. In diverse society, taste is a key way to differentiate oneself. The implication for service marketing is that understanding how taste function as both a personal preference and social marker can have significant implications for customer engagement and brand loyalty. Companies can capitalize on the concept of taste to enhance customer experiences by offering personalized services that appeal to the taste of their target audience. This can be done through customization, which is offering customer the ability to personalize their experience or services. For example, customizing their meals in a restaurant or personalizing a clothing item creates a stronger connection between the service and the consumer taste. Or we can understand the cultural preferences by recognizing that taste varies across different social cultures and subcultures allows businesses to tailor their offerings to meet their preferences or diverse consumer groups. This can include adapting product, service, or marketing messages to reflect the taste and value of specific culture or social class And finally is brand positioning. That brands can use taste as a mean to position themselves in the market. For instance, a luxury brand may leverage aesthetic taste to appeal to high status consumer, while a more budget friendly brand may focus on functional, practical taste to appeal to a broader audience. So, in sum, taste perception is much more than just physiological experience. Is play a central role in individual identity, cultural expression, and social differentiation. Now, move on to individual food preferences. They are as unique as fingerprint and influenced by both genetics and environment. Psychologically, taste preferences begin in the womb, your mother pregnant, and affecting by the mother's diet and saliva composition. For example, people with salty saliva often prefer salty foods. However, genetics alone don't explain all preferences. Studies show learning and early exposure play a major role. Family environment and repeated tasting would have shaped the expand and yeah would have shaped and expand the individual's palate, allowing them to enjoy flavors that might initially seem unpleasant or like not their cup of tea, like for example bitterness or spiciness. People also differs in how they experience and remember meals. Time spent dining and the emotional context affect how they recall food experience. Some prefer eating their favorite dish first, and the other one later or last, influenced by emotional and cognitive factors. And cultural influence shape preferences broadly, but individual tastes vary greatly within cultures. Some develop a liking for challenging flavor, for like spicy or sour food or extremely salty food, finding pleasure in sensory challenge, much like thrill-seeking activities are not yeah. And emotional states are also strongly influence eating habit. Like people often eat for comfort or celebration, linking food choices to mood beyond hunger. And taste preferences evolve through a combination of biology, emotion, and culture. Family, social interaction, and cultural exposure during childhood heavily influence taste development. Society, identify, and peer groups further shape preferences as people seek belongings and express lifestyle or status change, such as adopting a healthier diet later in life or friends all eat like that, so they must adapt or they move to somewhere else with a different type of cuisine. Learning and habituation would help people acquire taste over time, and foods once disliked, like bitter vegetable or strong spice, can become enjoyable through repeat exposure and positive experience, shaping a unique and evolving taste profile for each individual. In the context of service environment, especially in industry like restaurant, cafes, and bars, understanding individual taste preference become crucial. A service provider can enhance the customer experience by tailoring their offerings to meet diverse taste profile. For instance, a fine dining restaurant might offer a multi-course tasting menu that caters for varying tastes, enabling guests to experience different types of cuisine, texture, and flavors. Similarly, coffee shop might cater to diverse preferences by offering different roast, strange, or flavored syrups to satisfy individual taste profile and the developing ones. Moreover, the service atmosphere itself can play a significant role in shaping an individual experience of food and beverage. The ambience, the lighting, the sound, the temperature, the humidity can enhance the overall dining experience and influence of how food tastes as well. For example, deep lighting and with focus lighting on the meal and soft music may enhance the enjoyment of a wine tasting or a beef steak experience, making it feel more luxurious and sophisticated. Another application of text preferences is service. In service marketing is the idea of personalization as individual preferences are becoming more important in customer satisfaction. Service industry are increasingly offering customized experiences. For example, in the fast casual dining sector, restaurants might offer the option to build their own meal allowing customers to tailor their dining experiences to their exact preferences. This personalization creates a sense of empowerment and ownership over the dining experience, leading to higher satisfaction level and repeat purchases. Moreover, the services can address food preferences based on emotional and social factors. For example, the marketing of comfort food often leverage nostalgia or a sense of emotional fulfillment, like in the movie Ratatouille. At the ending scene, yeah, restaurants may advertise specific dishes that provide the sense of home or cultural identity, tapping into the emotion association with family meals or traditional recipes. In doing so, service providers align their food offerings with the emotional well-being of customer, fostering loyalty and brand affinity. Move on to age and gender in taste perception. So taste perception would differ significantly based on age and gender, as these differences have notable implications for food preferences and consumption behaviors. For children, taste perception develop over time, and it is influenced by both genetic factors and environment exposure. Interestingly, studies show that there are no significant gender differences in taste perception for children between the age of 2 to 9 years old. Children in this age do not display distinct variation in how they perceive taste, such as caffeine, citric acid, sodium, or sugar. This suggests that early development stages are marked with similar taste sensitivity regardless of gender. However, at individual age, their sensitivity to taste begin to diverge more distinctly between gender. This is particularly evident in adult. Women are generally more sensitive to sweet flavors in food and beverages, like soft drinks, while men tend to have higher tolerance for salt in dishes like soups or fish. This sensitivity can be attributed to both biological and cultural factors. For example, women might be more attuned to sweetness because of hormonal influence and especially period, which could also play a role in their dietary preferences. And a study examined gender differences in sensory perception related to the taste, smell, texture, and mouthfeel. The study revealed that women have higher degree of sensitivity to various flavor, especially in assessing bitter, sour, and sweet intensities. In addition, women demonstrate greater sensitivity to sense and were better at identifying flavors compared to men. This increased sensitivity may be linked to the historical roles of women have played in cooking and food preparation, suggesting that women may have developed a more refined ability to recognize and categorize flavor. On the other hand, men were found to exhibit greater sensitivity in chewing ability, allowing them to perceive hardness and texture in food more accurately. Interestingly, no significant gender differences were observed when it came to identifying objects in the mouth, such as the ability to recognize different texture of food typically by touch of the mouth alone. These findings underscore the distinct taste experience men and women may have in their everyday life, with women being more sensitive to certain taste and smell, and men having an edge in perceiving texture and the physicality for food. So the implication is that the gender-based differences in taste sensitivity have made an important implication field for service marketing and food product development. They can do food customization as I proposed above, or they may can do the portion size and flavor. The portion size of menu item could also be optimized so that male customers who have higher tolerance for salty and bitter flavors may appreciate a bolder taste, while female customers who are more sensitive to this flavor might prefer more balanced or mildly sweet option. And they can also make the product presentation differ. So, since women are often better at identifying and distinguishing between different scents, different tastes, they may be more likely to appreciate the aroma of freshly prepared food or beverages, such as pastries. This could lead to business emphasizing spice in their advertising and in-store experience to attract women, while for men, focusing on texture and flavor depth might be more appealing to them. And understanding how cultural and gender based preferences play a role in taste experiences can help business tailor their marketing strategy. For instance, a restaurant and food service provider may highlight local or seasonal specialties that align with the common taste of specific age group and gender in their target market. Moving on to the group preferences, taste is not only a personal sensory experience, it is deeply intertwined with social interaction and group dynamic. The consumption of food, beverage, and meals is a key social activities influenced by the presence of others and the social context and cultural tradition. From family gatherings to business lunches, the act of sharing meals often serves as the means to bond, building relationship, and foster social cohesion. In this way, taste became a collective experience that extends beyond individual preferences to shape group dynamics and perception. So, discussing the role of taste here, eating and drinking together would often elevate the taste experience for groups. The act of sharing a meal is more than just about nourishment, it's about enjoyment, socialization, and connection. For example, when individuals eat a meal with others, the taste sensation are often enhanced by the shared experience. The enjoyment of food in a social content can make a dish taste better, often due to the interaction and conversation that accompany the meal. And the social product of a meal can enrich its flavor, making the experience not just about physical sustenance, but also about emotional fulfillment. And the impact of social context on taste perception is also reflected in marketing and product consumption. For instance, the advertisement for frozen food often depict consumption alone, but in a real world setting, people might perceive the same food differently when enjoyed in a company or with friends and family. A social setting changes not only the quantity of food consumed, but also how it is evaluated. A meal shared at a celebration or gathering often have a more profound emotional impact than when consumed alone. In various societal cultures, food, beverages, and meal play a significant role in both celebration and rituals. The social function of eating is paramount in occasions like national holidays, religious celebration, weddings, personal milestones, birthday, Christmas. These events often center around communal meal or special beverages, making food and drinks not only about nutrition but also about celebrating shared value, heritage, and tradition. The aesthetic value of meals is also paramount in many cultures. The presentation of food, such as a beautifully arranged buffet or romantic dinner in a fine restaurant, play a major role in enhancing the experience. The combination of color, aroma, and texture contributes to the overall sensory experience of eating. For instance, the presentation of a chocolate box as a romantic gesture or a carefully prepared gourmet meal will speak volume about the cultural perception of affection and appreciation. But in many culture, it is different for how they perceive taste. Culture and societal tradition around cooking, seasoning, and flavoring are key to understanding taste preferences within a group. For example, Chinese cuisine relies on rice and a staple food, with techniques like wok cooking to preserve the texture and taste. Indian cuisine feature complex mixture of spices, creating rich and aromatic flavor profiles. Similarly, in the Mediterranean and Southeast Asian cuisine, seasoning traditions have been passed down for generations, creating distinct culinary identities and experiences. So, in Southeast Asia, for example, the use of coconut as the central seasoning in the um, southern part, yeah, and in various dishes is deeply ingrained in cultural practice, influence the taste preferences and culinary techniques. So each they will favor a more sweeter taste for their food, and each region cuisine become a form of identity that defines not only the flavor of the food but also the value and the history associated with it. The deep cultural connection to food make taste perception a powerful symbol of social belonging and identity. In the realm of service marketing, understanding group preferences and the social dynamic around taste can be a powerful tool for business. F&B organization can tailor their offerings to align with social context and cultural preferences. For example, Group dining experiences could be designed to foster social bonding, offering a shared platters or family style meals that encourage interaction. If you want to go Especially if you want to go to Asia to operate. And health conscious menu should address the growing trend of ethical consumption, promoting plant based option or low calorie meals to cater to more health awareness consumer. And event based food offerings such as festival or weddings can highlight traditional recipes or regional specialties aligned to the align the menu with cultural significance and local pride. Move on to taste symbolism. Taste, both gastronomic and aesthetic, shape individual and group identities. Gastronomic taste is biological, tied to taste receptors and influenced by heredity, age, and gender. Aesthetic taste, in contrast, is cultural and social, evolving from shared value and experience to define what is seen as beautiful, appropriate, or elegant dish. Both forms of taste are distinct yet interconnected, influencing the preferences in food, art, fashion, and brands. Aesthetic tastes reflect the cultural identity and varies across societies. Social class, education, background shape what is considered good taste. Luxury brands often appeal to higher classes through refined aesthetics, while products are for middle or lower income classes may focus on functionality while incorporating cultural cues. And taste signals society identities and is linked to cultural capital, the knowledge and preferences gained through upbringing. Skills such as appreciating fine wine or high end fashion often reflect one's social position and alignment with a certain cultural values. And the idea of good or bad taste would differ across culture, but often contrast refinement with vulgarity or excess. Some brands and artists deliberate use bad taste to challenge norm, create shock value, or symbolize rebellion. And in service, symbolism drives sensory branding. Fine dining, luxury hotels, and premium fashion stores emphasize aesthetics to appeal to status conscious customers, while casual and fast food services focus on the affordability and the local culture appeal. Moving on to the service environment. So, taste stimuli is in service environment is very special. In setting like cafe, boutiques, malls, restaurant, taste plays a central role in shaping memorable multi-sensory experience. Businesses combine taste with other senses to enhance the atmosphere and customer satisfaction. Food sampling, common in supermarkets and department stores, let customers to try product like cheese or sausages or juice before purchase, creating direct the engagement. And the environments look like interior design, lighting, furnishing, layout would affect how taste is perceived. Cozy sitting, soft lighting, thoughtful plating can make flavors feel richer, and lighting shades mood like warm tones would promote comfort and make the appetite look better, and while harsh lighting might reduce enjoyment of the meal. Here, both gastronomic taste and aesthetic taste would interact to elevate the dining experience. And about the slam sampling, tasting often involves touch as well. Feeling the texture of a chocolate bar or wine bottle before tasting can enhance perception. In supermarkets, customers may handle snacks before eating, creating deeper engagement and increasing purchase likelihood. Um, for the taste experience, it has two sides. The first is affective, the emotions like pleasure, delight, satisfaction, often stronger in shaping consumer behavior. And this other side is informative. The objective factors like sweetness, texture, brand, health benefit. Yeah. So free samples can trigger positive emotion, which is utilizing the cognitive bias of halo effect, making people view the product more favorably. Distractions such as background music can further enhance the emotional impact, sometimes outweighing the objective evaluation. And its impact on consumer behavior is crystal clear. Sampling is more than product testing; it fosters goodwill, sparks curiosity, and encourage variety seeking. A small free gift can lead shoppers to explore more product categories and spend more. Positive sampling experiences can also improve brand perception, boost loyalty, and increase return visits. Aesthetic concerns how an object, brand, place, or service environment looks and feels, shaping beauty appreciation and sensory image. In service setting, warm color or thoughtful designs can evoke comfort, harmony, and positive brand perception. Taste reflect personal preferences in food, drink, and style, shaped by both knowledge and emotional experience, blending pleasure seeking and functional motives. And while taste is subjective, universal design principles like elegance and harmony can create broad appeal. This is why aesthetically refined bread or venues often receive wide recognition. In fine dining, tastemakers such as the Michelin Guide or uh, the other guides would define good taste through criteria like ingredient quality, mastery of flavor, creativity, value, consistencies, and service. The three-star Michelin rating reflect the excellence in both cuisine and ambience, with environmental elements like lighting, layout, people, sitting influencing satisfaction and brand image as a whole. And multi-sensory design extends beyond the food to the whole experience, leading brands like um, anyone operating, especially in F&B, appeal to the sight, the sound, the smell, the taste, and the touch to create cohesive, immersive environment. Visual design sets perception, sound sets mood, scent trigger emotion, taste reinforce brand quality, and touch adds comfort. And quality cues. Together, these senses build emotional connection, encourage loyalty, and enhance customer satisfaction. Move on to brand and product. So, about the stimuli for many food brands, both gastronomic stimuli and the aesthetic stimuli are central to shaping consumer perceptions. Gastronomic stimuli are assessed mainly by taste and smell, while the aesthetic ones are evaluated visually. Together, they form the sensory experience that influence product evaluation. Flavors and spices, naturally for artificial, affect not just taste but also product identity. Quality can be judged by raw material, freshness, functionality, price, packaging, and craftsmanship. These factors would help position product in the market. In one study, it suggests that beer drinkers couldn't distinguishing brand in blind tasting. I'm sorry, showing that vision and branding strongly influence perception. Similarly, the research on ice cream flavor found that positive pre-existing emotion toward a flavor would increase the perceived quality. This shows that both cognitive evaluation like taste, texture, appearance, and emotional response like nostalgia and enjoyment would shape buying decision interconnectingly. So the implication is that the F&B firms can enhance experience by integrating gastronomic and aesthetic elements, flavors working alongside ambience, lighting, and design. Free samples also create sensory and emotional engagement, especially in stores and events. By combining these emotional and informative aspects, business can boost satisfaction, loyalty, and brand image. And beyond just search goods quality assessed before purchase and experience goods which the quality judge after use. The taste goods describe product often in fashion evaluated primarily by subjective preferences. The 2 point define the taste goods is subjectivity, which is the quality is based on the individual taste, making objective assessment difficult. And the other point to define it is the pre-purchase experience, which is consumers can form strong impression from a product's appearance before trying it. Fashion items would rely heavily on visual cues, colors, styles, texture rather than functional qualities. So as often used imagery instead of description, prioritizing aesthetic appeals. Moving on to the tasting samples, we will discuss deeper into it. So for most food manufacturers, ensuring that consumer can distinguish between different tastes and that flavors remain consistent across batches is vital for product success. Variations can harm the brand loyalty. So internal taste tests are often conducted before release, and they often use the triangle test. So participants would receive three samples. Two are identical, one is different, and must identify the odd one. This method check whether the differences are noticeable or if customers are guessing. So There's a case study in Germany. 12 leading ice cream brands were tested in the blind test without brands label. Popular brands were rated mediocre, with labels reviewed. The same brand ranked highest. This shows how brand perception can bias taste evaluation and the importance of taste branding. And the paired comparison method is that participant would rank three samples, two identical, one different by preference. The correctly placing the different sample at the top or bottom indicates the successful taste discrimination. This test is sensitive for detecting subtle flavor differences during product development. The external characteristics or visual cues such as color can shape taste expectations too, as I said above. In an orange juice study, deeper orange color would lead participants to perceive better flavor despite no change in actual state. And the haptic influence is that the texture, like softness, the smoothness, or the hardness, would affect the perceived quality and even estimate the calorie content. Softer or smoother foods were seen as higher in calories, influencing portion choices. So the applications can be in-store tasting, boost engagement, and encourage trials and strengthen brand loyalty through sampling. Or they might foster the brand experience. Pairing consistent quality with strong brand identity enhances consumer satisfaction. And finally, is the texture design. Considering haptic feedback in product development can improve sensory appeal and influence purchase decision. In short, taste perception is shaped by flavor, brand association, visual cues, and texture. Understanding these factors would help business and create product and experiences that would resonate with consumers. Heading to the taste symbolism. So companies use both gastronomic and aesthetic taste to evoke emotion, right? And shape brand perception too and create the memory experience too. And taste symbolism would refer to how tasting, whether food, drink, or design, can trigger joy, pleasure, or satisfaction, building strong brand association. The subjective taste perception is that taste is highly subjective, meaning it's shaped not just by our taste receptors, but also by the knowledge, the belief, and the cultural values that we have before. Social learning, health awareness, sustainability concerns, and cultural context would all influence how people evaluate flavors. Food often carries symbolic meanings: healthiness, indulgence, luxury. Yeah, those that subtly guide purchasing decision. For example, in an experiment comparing Perrier and old-fashioned seltzer, participants preferred Perrier when labels were visible, but showed no preference when labels were hidden. This illustrates how brand symbolism, the brand trust, brand name, quality of luxury can influence perceived taste, and the cultural meaning affect the preferences. The fruit and vegetable may symbolize humility. Red meat social power. So people who associate meat with status, associate the red meat with the high status may prefer a beef roll, while those valuing health and sustainability may choose vegetarian options. So similarly, Pepsi symbolism of enjoyment and social energy can make it seem more appealing than a generic cola. About the taste signature. The taste signature is a unique flavor profile that reinforces brand identity. The SAS airline, for example, the Singapore airline, adapts in flight meal to taste better at altitude, ensuring a consistent brand experience. Coca-Cola create Coca-Cola Vanilla after noticing that customers added vanilla to their drinks, that they are not satisfied with the um, formula at the time. So they are aligning the product flavor with consumer behavior. And brands like Danone and Lipton also cultivate distinct taste profiles to encourage loyalty too. And in retail and service, stores and service providers often use taste to enhance customer experience, like bookstore offering the free coffee, for example, making the brand feel welcoming and memorable. This sensory marketing strengthens the emotional connection and increase the time spent in store. So, The implication is that firms should integrate taste into brand identity. They should use unique flavor to reinforce brand personality and encourage repeat visit. They might adopt sensory marketing, which is aligning the taste experience with brand values, like luxury coffee served in the elegant mug, not in a cheap plastic cup. Yeah, and the influence consumer behavior is highly advisable too. They might positive home positive text experiences to boost satisfaction, loyalty, and word of mouth advocacy. And that is also the end of the presentation of this section. This is the summary of what is covered in the chapter. And we will end the presentation with a wrap up case of IKEA. So, IKEA in store restaurants serve iconic Swedish meals like meatballs and coffee, creating a welcome space for customers to relax and extend their visit. This food concept highlights IKEA's Swedish root and make the shopping more enjoyable. The key the most vibrant points is that it provides comfort and a break during the interior shopping, and it is family friendly and social atmosphere. It connects customer to IKEA's culture through authentic food, and it extends experience via IKEA Bistro and Swedish food market. Why it matters is because it enhances customer satisfaction and the time that they gonna spend inside the store, and it reinforced IKEA's unique brand identity globally, and it offered cultural immersion that builds emotional ties. And in conclusion, IKEA's food creates a memorable multi-sensory brand experience that strengthens customer connection, though it must balance the authenticity and the ethics to meet the ethical consideration. And that is officially the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.